Hi guys, it's me Jordan, or Makeup by Jordana if you guys know. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you guys are brand new. As you can see, I have changed up my background very fast. Very fast. So, first off I want to say thank you guys so much for, even though it was small, even though it's like a little bit, for the amount of support on my last video. I was just completely blown away by like all of you guys actually liking the content, even viewing the content, subscribing, all of that. Even though it's just so small, we're just gonna be here, we're gonna grow, we're gonna grind, we're gonna give out some good looks, we're gonna give out some good stories, you know, everything like that. So today we're actually going to be talking about, if you guys don't know, that I was a cheerleader in high school. We're gonna import photos probably like everywhere. But I was a cheerleader in high school, and during that we had some really fun and crazy experiences. A lot of broken body parts, a lot of, you know, broken bones, broken faces, squashed heads, necks, bodies, everything. So if you guys want to hear about that, keep on watching. We're also doing makeup. So don't. Yes. So just keep on watching. When I was in high school, I'm just gonna actually just start moisturizing my skin. While I was in high school, I really didn't do a lot of things my freshman year. My freshman, or like, you know, beginning when I had got there, because I was just like, oh, you know, I don't know if I'm doing any sports, because I did sports when I was younger, but I actually hated them. I did football and it was horrible, like absolutely god awful. I hate the sport. I'm so sorry. Yep, I hate football. I think it's pointless. But when I was in high school, I joined my actual cheerleading team, and I joined because of my English teacher, who was actually the coach. Shout out Mrs. Rubisoff now. She's currently married. I joined my sophomore year, like the end of my freshman year, my sophomore year, came into cheerleading. And if you know about cheer, if you are into the cheer world, if you know me, then you're probably going to be like, oh my god, this bitch is talking about cheer again. But I joined my beginning of my sophomore year, and it was probably one of the best things now when I think about it that I have done, and also probably one of the most painful things that I have done. So pretty much I loved it, and at the very end, but we're going to get into like some more stories about that, I also just moisturized using the Neutrogena Hydra Boost Water Gel. And now we're going to go into skin. Actually, no, we're going to go into eyes. So when I joined cheer many eons ago, it was a lot of physical activity that I didn't think I was going to be ready for, but my English teacher, who was also the coach, thought that I was going to be ready for. I'm just going to carve up my brows using the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop concealer. When I joined, and my English teacher was like, you really need to, like, you know, you have potential in everything. She's seen things in me that I didn't even know I had, or even seen in myself to begin with. So I was just like, sure, I guess I'll go into it or whatever. It should be fine. It should look amazing. It should be fun. So I joined, and today for the makeup look, we're actually going to be going into the Beats by Deb, the Makeup by Yolanda Beats by Deb, the Beat Down palette. I just ordered this palette, and oh my god, I'm so excited to use it. And we're going to be first dipping into this black shade down here, black owned. And we're just going to put that in my crease really quickly. But as she told me that she's like, oh yeah, you need to join, you're going to be on the team or whatever. I was like, okay, cool. So I did it, and I loved it. I did it for a couple of years. It was really fun, and had a lot of accomplishments with it. I feel like it is something that I would really love to go back and do again if I had the chance to. But pretty much getting to the meat of the story, it was my was it the end of my sophomore year? It was the end of my sophomore year, and in cheer, you tumble, you jump, you pick up people, you climb, you crawl, you die, you burn, you get rolled up, you roll out, you know, everything's like that. So as I'm in there. I have no skills. I came in with no skills at all to begin with. I loved how she taught me how to actually tumble, and I loved how people were tumbling, and I loved how it looked and everything like that. But you know, when you're in cheer, you know, you stunt, you tumble and everything like that. And if you can do both, if you can stunt and tumble, you know, they call you a little stumbler, you know. I stumbled, but they call you a little stumbler. And I'm just gonna apply this to my crease really quickly. But they call you a stumbler and everything like that, so. So I just went ahead and put the black in my crease, so I had to be very careful, so sorry for the abrupt stop in talking about it. But, however, back to what I was saying, when you stunt and you tumble and everything like that, especially me being like, you know, boy, I was new on the team, I wanted to make sure that I was like able to do everything anybody else was doing, because there was so many talented people, so many talented like teammates. All of my teammates were very talented people, and I looked up to all of them and was just like, I need to be just like that, if not 50 times better, which I was. So as I was learning how to tumble and everything like that, for me, my coach had us do D-days, and D-days are do-it days, and it was very much like, she gave an assignment on what tumbling skill that you needed to have, because I struggled with tumbling in the beginning, because it's not the easiest thing to get. Like, some people are naturally gifted in it, however, you know, I was no Gabrielle Douglas yet. But, I was just like, struggling really hard with it and everything like that, and I really wanted to learn and know how to tumble, because I knew like the standard that like not even like me but everybody else was held at, especially like the older people on the team, like the people that had been there longer than I had. So she gave me the most simple tumbling pass to do at the time, and when I look back I still hate them to this day. It was so easy, it was so simple, it wasn't even like I had to genuinely like do anything. I didn't even have to twist or do anything like that. If you know, if you're in the cheer world, like twisting or anything like that, I didn't physically have to like completely 360 rotate my body. Like, I did not have to do that. So I was so like, right now when I look back on it, I'm like, why did I struggle so hard? But I understand why I did before, because I realized that I'm 6 foot like 55 and 400,000 pounds, and gravity doesn't really like me sometimes. So I pretty much had to like, I waited till the day, you know, like she gave it to us on a day like before there were like gyms that you could go to, because there were like these things called open gyms where you go and you actually work on your skills and everything like that. It's like an open free practice range of like, you know, skills for cheer. So she would give it to us like the day before, and or like a Wednesday, and like Thursday, you know, we would go into like, you know, practice or whatever, and Friday and Saturday it's like we didn't have practice and stuff like that. So it was like, oh, okay, we go to open gym, or like you bring a group, or like whoever, you go by yourself, you bring a group of like your teammates, whoever goes, and you guys work on like the actual skills. So like, you know, I mean, like I would go and I would try to work on the skill, and I would go and I would sit around, I really wouldn't do anything, and not realizing that it would come back and literally bite me in the entire behind. But it was just like, I would go, you know, your friends, you would do other things. You would want to stunt instead of tumble one day, and then you would want to tumble instead of stunt one day, or you wouldn't go with anybody, so like it would be really weird. So I was just kind of like, well, let me not like be, you know, weird and everything like that. Let me go with like a group of people and it'll be fine. And like the older people on the team, like, you know, like the veterans and stuff like that, would like, they would ask me, they'd be like, oh, you want to go to open gym and everything like that? And I'm like, okay. I'd be like, sure, I guess I'll go. But you know, like I still felt awkward, because I was like, you know, I was the new person on the team, and like they already had people from that year and the year before that were already there. So it was kind of like, oh, they didn't really know who I was. And I was just like, okay, I kind of felt awkward. I was like, how do I blend in with them? You know, type stuff like that. But it was fine. It was perfectly fine. But I'm gonna dip into the shade Summer Nights down here. This one is right here. Yep. Ooh. The pigment on this freaking palette is insane. Oh my god. Oh my god. So I just went ahead and blended out the purple into the black. Hopefully it doesn't look too crazy. That shade. But so I like looked up to a lot of the people, and you know, I would go to the open gyms and everything with everybody. So I oh my god, I'm saying so many times. Not the so counter, not again. I would go to open gym with like groups of people, but sometimes I wouldn't want to like, you know, tumble and everything like that. So pretty much it would be me procrastinating getting the skill, and that would happen with like everybody. Like everybody on the team would procrastinate to get the skill. Like, you know, they wouldn't like go or like do privates or anything like that where they would go and actually get the skill. So I actually like tried to take the time out and like learn how to do it, like got spotted for it, tried to figure out how to do it and everything like that. I was warming it up. I had it. It was inconsistent, but it wasn't the best. So I would go and like the very next day, not like the next day, like we would go into practice and everything like that, and our coach, she'd be like, okay, she'd be like, make sure you guys are practicing your D-Day skill, make sure you guys are actually like, you know, doing that type of stuff, make sure you guys are going to open gyms, like doing that type of stuff. She would remind us and everything like that. But I genuinely, like, I would go like on the weekends, but like I wouldn't find any like during the weekdays, because you know I was just so busy. I was just always doing something. I was doing absolutely nothing. But I was just so busy as, you know, like a teenager. Me being a teenager now. But she would remind us and she would tell us and everything. But I really wouldn't like, you know, I wouldn't like go like during the week. I would only go like during the weekend and stuff like that. And then I would just be like, oh, okay, like I'll just magically figure out how to get the skill and magically just figure out how to tumble at the very end. So it was just like, okay, let's see how that works. And as like time went on, I would go, everything like that, and we would like run our routine. So like the way it would go, like we would run the routine and stuff like throughout the course of like the time of us learning how to get the skill. So we wouldn't really like throw the tumbling passes during that time. We would just be like learning the actual skills, and then we would like run through the routine without doing the tumbling passes and everything like that. If you didn't have it, then you wouldn't do it, you know. You would just do like a round up or something or whatever, and then like go to your next spot. So we would go through, like I would go through days of like, you know, practicing and everything like that, and D-Day would be getting closer and closer, and I would still not have this skill. But like I would be trying to practice it, you know. I wouldn't practice it in the grass or anything like that, but I would still be trying to practice it. And right along, here comes D-Day sneaking up, and that's what happens. It sneaks up on you so fast that like it makes legit no sense. Like you're like, oh, yesterday it was like the first day she told us that we had it, and then tomorrow it's like D-Day, and you're like, yeah. You're like, oh, let's see how this is gonna go. Like, let's see how I'm gonna pull this skill out of my entire, you know, behind. Like, out of my entire behind. Like, how am I gonna do this? So, D-Day rolls around, and I'm just gonna cut my crease really fast, using the same concealer that I used to cut up under my brow really quickly. So, I'm just gonna pack that white shadow all on the crease area that I cut as I continue to tell you my story. This is my truth. Oh my goodness. Please. But actually, as I procrastinated for days and days, and D-Day eventually snuck up on me really quickly, really fast, like a ghost, like a demon. Sleep paralysis. So, D-Day eventually ended up sneaking up on me, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know if I should cry. I didn't know if I should just, you know, have diarrhea or anything like that. And when D-Day came, it was like you died. It was like you have died and you have ascended into a different plane of, like, you know, of me just crying some more. So D-Day eventually snuck up on me, and I was not ready whatsoever to see like what I was gonna do. I was like, oh my god, like I'm like, how am I gonna do this? I walked into practice nervous, and it's like we had school all day, so it's like you're going to every class. You're going to every class like thinking, oh my god, what the hell am I gonna do? Like practice isn't like, you know, one less class period away. Like, and it's not like you can practice how to do something, you know, in school. Like you can't practice how to tumble in the hallway. Like it's not happening. Like, so, you know, you're like, how am I gonna figure out how to do this by the end of the day? Or like, how am I gonna pull this out of like my entire bunk hole like at the end of the day? And when I tell you, it hit 3:30. Well, 3:15, because you know we got out of class 15 minutes early. But practice is at 3:30, so you know we're rushing to like go and changing everything out of like your actual clothes. And for me, that was also a hassle. Like me, I came to school and like everything, like I wore my entire closet. Like, you know, I came to school in the most exquisite things, and I promise you it was just such a hassle for me to take off all of my diamonds and pearls and everything else. It was just such a huge hassle to do that. Go to practice and I walk in and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like, how is this gonna go? You know, how am I gonna do this? So I walk in and everybody's so quiet. When you walk in on D-Day, it's like nobody wants to talk. Nobody wants to say anything. They don't want to say a word. They're like, oh, let me just like not say anything. Maybe she'll forget about it. Maybe we messed up so bad yesterday on practice that she doesn't even want to do D-Day anymore. Like, you know, like you're praying that like we're like, oh my god, let's just hope she's like not gonna be like, oh, let's play, let's do D-Day. Like you're hoping she's not gonna do that. So we all walk in and we're all so quiet. And it's like as the years go on, I think back about it, like year after year, I'm like, oh, she was just living to see us be like, oh, did you get the skill? Because if you didn't get the skill, I'm gonna look at you like you're crazy. And if we didn't have the skill, you got conditioning. So you had to like, we had to do bear crawls up and down all of our mats. And there's 9 mats, and these sheer mats are like, when you're doing the bear crawls, like 100 feet long. But in like real life, like they're not even that long. But it's like, it feels like you are literally going to crawl up Mount Everest and come back 52 times. And it's like, for the amount of people that didn't land the skill, you had to do bear crawls. But it was like, for, if let's say if I actually did what I had to do, which I did. So, like let's say if like one of my teammates didn't like do their tumbling pass, like they didn't land it, they had to do bear crawls, but the people that actually landed their skills did not have to do bear crawls. So it was like you wanted to be that person that like was gonna land their skills all the time. And there was always that one person that was like gonna land their skills the whole time. Like, you know, there was that one person, like we just knew that there was just no way they're gonna fall on D-Day, and they got the skill. Like they've had the skill for like ever. So it was like, okay, you know, you were more afraid of like, as like I look back on it, I was more afraid of like, you know, people like me where I'm like, oh crap, like I genuinely like am kind of scared for this person. Like, so we get there and we warm up before we do anything. Like she gives us time, she gives us like 7 minutes to warm up for all of it. So we're going and I end up like, you know, warming up and I like throw roundhouse and everything. She's like, throw the actual skill. You know, like I warm up, do like, you know, just like a regular back handspring, like a regular standing tuck, stuff like that. And I struggled with running tumbling more than I struggled with standing. Like I will do the skill in one place, but actually running and doing the skill, I struggled with it back then. So I'm like sitting there just throwing roundhouse and everything like that, and I'm like not even like doing the skill. I'm like, I got it. Like my roundoff has to be right before I can do the skill. Like if it doesn't feel right, I'm not doing it. So she's like, just throw it, just throw it. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, I'm gonna do it. So I'm like going all the way to like the far ends of the mat, like where nobody wants to go. And I'm like throwing my skill like by myself so nobody's watching me or anything like that. And I go and I'm like, okay, me knowing to myself, I'm like, I might fuck up. I'm like, I might fuck up. Like I might just die. So I go and I take off and I'm running and go, and it's like a round off tuck, a simple skill, just round off tuck. Like I had the round off and I had the tuck, like just put it together and just go. And I had both the skills, so I'm running and I go and I do it, and I go up and I hear a snap. Like the loudest snap ever. Like Dorito Crunch, Taco Bell Doom. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was the loudest crunch ever, and I'm just sitting here. And 2 seconds later, I look up. One of my teammates is looking at me. Another one of my teammates is looking at me. They're like, what the heck was that? Like, what was that, like, sound? And it was my hand. It was my right hand, my dominant hand. Literally snapped like a Dorito, like a Cheez-It cracker, like a Ritz cracker, like snapped, I mean snapped like the TV show. Like face crack like me right now. Like it was just all of the above, like just horrible. Just so bad. So I was just like, okay, what do I do now? Like, I'm just sitting here looking crazy. And it was only the warm-up. Like, it wasn't even, like, the initial, like, actual we're doing the thing. It was just the warm-up. So, I ended up getting up. And I can't even feel my right arm. Like, I can't feel it at all. And I'm realizing, oh, my shoulder has been dislocated. So, I'm like, it's out of the socket. Like, it is completely out of the socket. My arm is, like, hanging. And so, I'm like, okay, you know, how do I get this back in? So, you know, I'm very much like Natalie from Charlie's Angels Full Throttle. When when her shoulder gets dislocated, she pops it back into place. So I'm like, oh, okay, let me just like, you know, pop it back. Like, I'll be fine, you know, whatever. And then like, I go to the nurse and like for that, like the athletic trainer or whatever, and I go, and she's like, what happened? And I'm like, oh, I just messed up my hand, and my hand looks like a freaking jellyfish from SpongeBob. Like, I'm just sitting here, hand is throbbing, like it looks like one of the, like, the blow-up ones that, like, you know, you just blow up and it's like the fingers, like the chicken head, like the, literally just like that. I was like, oh my god, this is horrible. And I'm like, okay, like, I just need, like, 6 ibuprofen, I'll be fine. I was not okay. I came back with a bag of ice on my hand just sitting there. And you want to know what the great thing was? I did not want to do bear crawls because I knew I wasn't going to land it. But since I broke my hand and dislocated my shoulder, I ended up not doing any bear crawls. I broke the system. But I'm just going to pack this on until I get it. Probably blend everything out really quickly. And then I'm going to come right back. So I'm blending out with the black and the purple. I'm just blending out the edges with the black and the purple from the palette. Summer Nights in Black owned. Figure out which shade is which. I ended up, pretty much after I, you know, came back with like my ice pack and everything, I was sitting down, and at this time, like, I wasn't like a newbie, I was on the team, you know, I kind of solidified like my spot, my presence, which is so great. No. But I ended up like, you know, sitting down the entire time and like watching everybody else doing bear crawls, so like I was sitting there like not doing anything. And I like lived for it because I was like, oh my god, like I don't have to do bear crawls. But at the same time it was like, you don't have a tumbling pass in the routine, which was for me like the most important thing. Well, not really, because like I was in a routine, but I was like, I don't have a tumbling pass, so I'm not at the same level as everybody. And me, I'm always like super competitive. I'm a perfectionist. I want everything to look great. Like I want everything to be great. Like for me, I was like, I need to be like up here, and right now I'm down here, and everybody else is up here because these people landed their tumbling passes and I'm on the team and I'm new. Even though I'm new, I'm like, I still wanted to be like, you know, one of the best, or like, you know, remembered to be like one of the best, you know. So I was just like, oh my god, like I didn't land my tumbling pass. But it was perfectly fine. So the first couple of days after I broke my hand, I ended up going to school for probably about like every day. So pretty much like as like time went on, I think we had no competitions coming up. It was like the very like, you know, almost getting into like the competition season, like actually getting into that, because it was football season, it was capture season or basketball season, however you want to do it. So we were just like about to get into it, and I think my hand was still kind of like messed up. So my hand ended up healing like in 2 weeks time. Like it happened 2 weeks time, but I went to school with a jellyfish hand for like a good like week and a half until my mom was like, okay, it's not going down, it's broken, you have to go to the doctor. And like I would feel it, like I would go like this and I would feel the bone moving like back and forth, and it was just so bad. I'm so sorry if it's like, you know, sensitive, but I felt like the bone moving back and forth like in my hand, well, up and down in my hand, and it was just so bad. Like it was so horrible. Hi guys, future me here. Oh my god, I really look like this. So, pretty much the story was taking super duper long and I'm really gonna have to cut it short. So pretty much the moral of the story is I broke my hand doing the easiest tumbling pass ever. And I basically just talked about how I was recovering after the fact of the story. So like that part really had nothing to do with it. So basically we're just gonna cut into where I have both legs completed and I'm basically at the finished look. Pretty much, don't break your hand, guys. Try your hardest not to break anything on your dominant side of your body. And yes, my hand still looks funny. And yes, I still do think that the Taco Bell sound is funny. Yes. The future me again. Pretty much, we didn't have any competitions coming up. We didn't have anything else coming up. I just had to really cut this video kind of a little bit shorter. Not cut it short, but take out the parts that like we didn't really need because I really rambled a bunch. Because the video would have been like 45 minutes long and nobody has time for that. Like, I don't even have time for that. So I cut it short, and pretty much what I was explaining through that entire time is it was basically we had no competitions, we had nothing, anything like that. So I was just basically living with a broken hand at school, looking crazy for a very long time. So I quickly applied some lashes, some highlighter, and some lips and everything like that. I just mixed a bunch of lip glosses together. I used some like a matte one and an actual sheer gloss and some of my Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb, you know, little sample package. So that's all I really did. I finished up the face and everything like that. I really enjoyed doing this video. I really liked the look. I liked how it came out. I feel like everything was just really cute and pretty and honestly like really cool and fun. I loved using the palette. By the way, that Beatdown palette, oh my god, the best thing ever in the world. But moral of the story is I really enjoyed tumbling. I loved it so much. I love cheer and I miss it every day of my entire life. I really want to get back into it. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe down below. Hit the bell icon to get notified every time I upload. Also, if you want to follow me on any of my social medias, they'll always be all right here or right somewhere on the screen where you can see them. Please just like, comment, subscribe, share everywhere if you guys like it. I really appreciate you guys for the last video. Thank you guys so much for that. Also, Sebastian's social media will also be somewhere on the screen as well, so you guys can go and follow him. He does amazing photography. But please make sure you guys do all of that, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. So, okay. This is so close to my face. Wait, back up a little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more. Just zoom out.
Okay.
Okay, bring me back. Oh, that should be good, yeah. So, I had that the other day.
Sleep paralysis?
Amazing.
Amazing?
Amazing process. It is just astonishing. But like the entity disappeared. I guess I was the scary one.
The entity is Claudel.
Everybody said that.
Oh.
Everybody kept saying it was Claudel. They kept saying it was him. I kid you not. They were like, it was Claudel. Mm-hmm. I was like, it's not. It wasn't him. Yeah. But they kept saying it was. So I'm concerned. No. Bring it on, ghost. Play me, play Lotto. You know, or I can just
You're just coloring your Thanos stones. Infinity stones.
Bye!
Alright, you're recording now.
Cheering and stuff. Boom! Yes! That was literally me. That was me every day.
You know that TikTok where it's like, what video plays in your rent, or what video is like in your mind rent free?
Uh-huh.
Is that what it is? Is it just a...
It's just a Taco Bell noise
It's
playing
Taco
over and
Bell.
over. It's in my head rent free every day. Like,
That's funny.
I think I got over it yesterday. I didn't get over it. I'm still
Nope,
into it.
still there. It's probably gonna be like that for the next
50 years. Yeah.
Oh. Hey Google, volume level 7. Who is Tara Michelle?
On the website thefamouspeople.com, they say Tara Massicott is a Canadian YouTuber, writer, blogger, and traveler. Do you want a little more context?
You hear that, Tara Massicott? We're coming for you.
Laughing.
What's so funny?
But, why do you want to wrap up your story before we keep getting sidetracked?
Okay.
Hey Google,
You are listening.
stop casting.
Oh my god, wait, that podcast?
I didn't even say Google.
Oh, girl. But
I had so much fun editing this video. So
yes. Why?
every time you say Google, I need to look that way. So like,
Just like that.